All right. We are live. Gonna wait a few minutes so that we can get a couple people in here. If we can get 2 people in here, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna do this. So I hope your quarantine life is not as crazy as mine is going right now, but it's good. Hopefully you're getting some exercise in, you're getting some movement in. It's a very weird time. So if you are watching this, even if I'll shut down still, but I'm over here in Wesley Chapel, Florida. It is hot outside, but it's better than it being rainy and cold. I want to talk about movement snacking, as in S-N-A-C-K, snacking. And this concept, if you're on my newsletter, you would have gotten an email out today talking kind of opening up the doors to this movement snacking. What is it? What does it do? Like, it makes no sense. And so what I want to do with the live is kind of go into more detail on that, like kind of unpack like what exactly is this movement stacking. I know last time or last week we talked about approaching exercise with low back pain. Like, how do you go back and forth? How do you navigate the two? And this one is a little bit more on like the rehab sense, but you can apply it to exercise too, because it's talking about you've been released by a PT or a chiro or a physio or your doctor, and you're on your own now. And you're like, shoot, like I've got my little sheet of paper that has my full setting, and you're doing things with a clinician. You're there for the time that you have. It's a 30-minute time, 45-minute time, you're there. So doesn't matter what happens, you're gonna be there for that amount of time. Odds are you're not gonna get like, okay, 10 minutes in, you're good, you can go on your way now because you're having issues. No, they're gonna put you through your paces and try to figure out what they can do with you for that time so they can bill you, of course, or bill your insurance company, but also just to kind of, in hopes of actually getting you results. So what I want to talk about is, or kind of segue into, is this movement stacking, or I'm sorry, movement snacking. I'm going to get that mixed up more than once, I promise you. And so you have your expectation of movement, and you can think of this in an exercise setting or like a self-rehab setting, right? You're not at the gym working out, but you're at home. Like, you're quarantined, you're stuck at your house, and you're like, look, my back is smoked. I'm super stressed. I'm super anxious. I'm worried. I can't get this, can't get that. And my back is just at it. As you still aren't going to go to work out and try to think about this snacking thing because you're going there to work out. So on the rehab sense, and this is what you can do, what you have power in your own, self to be able to do for yourself, is introduce what realistically your movement snacking should look like versus like an expectation, right? An expectation of a rehab setting type of exercise may be like, okay, I'm going to do this for 45 minutes. I'm going to do my 30 to 45 minutes of stretching or mobility work, or I'm going to go and this personal trainer or this doctor, this physio, this chiro gave me these 6 exercises I have to do every single day. So no matter what, I'm going to go into my little area and I'm going to do those exercises for that period of time. Right? That's the expectation. You want to plug in your formula that you were given into your life and hope that that's what's going to get you the results that you're looking for. In this case, if you're watching this, it is long-term pain relief. So that's the expectation, right? Is you're looking at what you think you should be doing and the time frame that you should be doing it in, and then you have reality. And if you are actually suffering from chronic low back pain and you actually want to beat it, like I can sit here today and say, I've lived with chronic low back pain and I've learned how to beat it. I know what reality looks like. I've been through expectation, and now I know what reality looks like. And what reality looks like is that every single day is going to be different, right? You may have your list of 4 exercises. You may have your list of 7 stretches that you were given by your chiro or physio or doctor or whatever. And you're setting out to do those things, but the reality of it is you may not be able to get through them. And this is where the paradigm shift is, because back pain and overcoming back pain is both a mental thing and a mechanical and a physical thing. So you have to learn to marry those two. And I'll repeat this over and over and over throughout all of my content. You have to look at both of those things to make that an actual reality for yourself. So the reality of this movement snacking, is being able to let go of your expectation of what you're about to do, right? If you took the setting of just simply working out, going in, you're saying, I'm a part of William's Smart Strength membership. He's got 5 exercises here. It's going to take me, XYZ amount of time. I got to do this many reps and sets. That's all great. But reality kicks in. And what if you get into it and you're 2 exercises in and you're having issues? 1 exercise in and you're having issues. Hang on, my thing unplugged. Sorry about that. Comfortable in knowing what reality looks like for a back pain sufferer, your results are going to change and you're going to see long-term relief. And if you have any questions, I know we have some things coming in here. I got some questions on my phone as well. So if you have questions coming in, by all means, put them in the comment section after this is all over. I'm going to try to talk for like 30 minutes, and then if even less than that, and then go over some questions. So if you have questions, put them in there. Any comments? Let me know if you're hearing me, if all the things I'm saying right now are making sense. So the reality of it. So the reality of the exercise snacking is finding a way to take what you've been given and then find what's going to fit you and your personal threshold of pain. So, and this is where the healing comes in, because ultimately, if you have your exercise set out for you, you're following Relief Academy, Smart Strength membership, whatever you may have, and you're set for those 2 or 3 exercises, and the first exercise you get into, you're having issues, or during your warm-up, you're having issues. What do? Well, he says to keep working out, or my doctor says I should keep doing these stretches, or this says I should do this. And this is where you have to make a choice in going after expectation of what you think you should be doing, or what you were told to be doing by your trusted professional, and the reality of your own personal threshold. So when you're faced with that, right, this is where a lot of people get messed up. And this is why it probably took me so long to actually overcome my chronic pain, was because when I hit that wall, when I kind of started to learn, okay, expectation versus reality, they're very 2 different things. And I can't keep following expectation because it's not working. And that's insanity, to continue to follow your strategy or whatever you're doing and it not be working. Then you have to change it. So my reality and my relief started coming when I would take the things that I got from my trusted source and I applied them to my own situation and I adapted on the fly. Then it could be a difficult thing for you to navigate. But the snacking part of what you're doing comes in is when you introduce small bits of movement, small bits of exercise to a point where you can control the outcome, right? A previous email, I'm not sure when I sent it out, but I was talking about always, I think it was last Thursday, I always end on a positive note. That is what you need to do when it comes to chronic back up. Because what happens is you go into your workout and you're following your expectations, and your expectations aren't being met, and you're either going to push through them and keep going because your guru told you to keep doing that, or you're going to go the other way and find and meet reality where it's at, and then know how to navigate that. Once you're at that point where you're navigating reality, this is where you have to learn when to push forward. Of snacking can be a lot of different things, right? When I think of a snack, I think of something small. Grapes, I got kids, I got goldfish, I got Cheez-Its, I got stuff like that in my house. Those are snacks in my mind. When it comes to movement or exercise or a workout, your big workout, 4 to 5 exercises lasting 45 minutes length or whatever you're doing, a snack of that could be just 1 simple exercise, because that's reality to you, right? You could be doing a upper body workout. And let's just take push-ups, for example. You can't do straight up body weight push-ups, like as in on your toes, on your hands doing push-ups, countertop. Let's try that variation. How does that feel? Does it feel good? Okay, cool. So I'm going to do that variation of the exercise and then grade myself on how I feel, right? If it's only that 1 exercise that I know that I can do because I understand the brain, navigate exercise smart. I'll put a link in the comments later about the Smart Strength membership, which is basically every 30 days you're getting a brand new back pain friendly exercise program delivered to you on a very private platform. So you get to log in, and it's all exercise based coaching around the back pain sufferer. So I can link that up a little bit later. But so you're looking at a specific exercise, and you're either going to push forward or you're going to stop and you're going to pull back. Because this is where that choice of, okay, I need to both be able to recover mentally and physically, right? We have this expectation of our workouts being, drop dead hard, like sweating, exhausted, all pushing hard. I like that. But it took me a long time to overcome the fact that doing that or going into my workouts to expect that or to look for that was very damaging, and it was never going to help me in the long run. So I had to learn to snack on what I was used to, right? I would take just a bent over row. If I could take a bent over row, I got dumbbells behind me. Let's see if I can show you real quick. If I could take a bent over row and simply coming down to here, getting in a good position, and then rowing nice and slow. If I could do this and then put the weight down and stand up straight and it felt good and I wasn't in pain, guess what? That was on my list of snacking. I was going to do that exercise because it does so many different things. It engages the entire posterior chain. It's a dangerous type of movement for people who have chronically sensitive low back, so they have a flexion intolerant. That exercise there is very scary. Anything kind of bent over can be very scary. So if I can learn, and a part of that is hip hinging. And what you saw there was a lot of things broken down to your basic bent over row. But the hip hinge aspect of it, where I'm distributing my weight, is a big factor in where my pain is going to be. So for a long time, I was flexion and extension intolerant. Was that because I ruptured my disc and I really don't have anything in between those two vertebrae? I don't know. I'm not. That's not my place to say. But I know flexion and extension was painful for me. And that exercise in particular was a very dangerous, scary exercise for me. But when I learned to snack on movements like that, do certain exercises like that, introduce that exercise with weight, without weight, and to tell myself and to show myself that, okay, I'm flexing, I'm bending my spine, despite my pain, despite my history, despite my expectation of this exercise, I'm able to do it and control my symptoms. That alone does two things. Mechanically, it builds endurance, it builds resilience in my body and in tissues that I've been overlooking or just scared to train because of the pain. It trains them and builds that resilience, but it also builds resilience in my mind. It mentally makes me stronger. It mentally makes me tougher and learns to build confidence in myself to be able to do stuff like that, right? Because naturally that is a dangerous, scary thing for most chronic back pain sufferers, okay? So now there's kind of two, I kind of touched on this before, like there's two versions or two types of people who are looking to go, or I guess use this movement snacking. There's the in pain people, as in, there's the in pain people, and there is the out of pain people. People who are seeing progress with their chronic pain relief and who but still have flare-ups, right? For example, I ruptured my disc and I had degenerative disc. I was diagnosed with degenerative discs above that site that was ruptured, my L5S1. I never got it fixed, okay? I never had pain. I'm still kind of scared in my mind that, oh, you remember, you never fixed it. You could have these issues. Just being real with you, maybe. I suffered for 8+ years with everyday chronic debilitating back pain. So then to not get things fixed, to go through what I teach in Relief Academy and all those things, and now to be where I'm at today is mind-blowing, because I was always told, no, you got to get this fixed. You ruptured it. This is what you do when you rupture this. You have to expect what I'm trying to overcome 100%. But so I guess I would put myself in the pain-free category, which could cause flare-ups. I can have flare-ups. I can still tweak my back. I'm human, just like anybody else. So when you're in pain, you have to be careful with how hard you push with your snacking, right? You've got to find entry points into exercises. If you were to take the squat, for example, if the loaded squat or any kind of loaded squat causes issues, you got to break that down and just do the bodyweight squat, okay? Does a bodyweight squat cause tension? Okay, there's different variations you can put. You can put plates under your heels, which will change the angle of your feet So when you're squatting, it's less stress on the lower back due to your lack of ankle range of motion. That could be a thing. You know, if you can't do the bodyweight squat and you're looking at single leg stuff like lunges and stuff like that, all of those are entry points into exercise. All of those could be snacking for a very long time. Tension like clockwork doing leg training, no matter how hard I went, right? So to address the mechanical side and the mental side at the same time, I had to do the snacking. I had to, instead of doing 5 hardcore leg exercises, I had to break them down into snack size or just manageable workouts, right? I didn't leave super, super sore, but I would leave there feeling like I worked out, like I did something at least, you know? So it would consist of just 1 leg exercise, doing it 3 sets of it. See how I felt. I would call the workout then, done, boom. 24 hours later, if I felt good, my hips weren't super tight, my lower back wasn't taking all that stress, the next leg workout, I would push the limits. I would do a little bit more on that specific exercise, or I would do that certain exercise and I would add something else to it, right? So I'm snacking on different types of, not different types, but I'm snacking on different variations or levels of intensity with my exercises, right? And it's the same thing with movement. Relief Academy talks heavily about this whole concept, right? It's not just a workout program, because you don't just need to work out more. People who have low back pain do not need to simply just work out more or just start working out. That's not what chronic low back pain sufferers need. They need the combo of mechanical and psychological understanding pain. So what Relief Academy does in a certain section called the foundation workouts is it takes the movements, the scary movements, the fundamental movements that we do on an every single daily basis that are required of the human race to do successfully, except chronic pain sufferers do it with chronic pain for the most part. So what it does is those foundation workouts and then essentials of strength workouts that are inside Relief Academy. And I'm talking about something that you have no idea what I'm talking about. And I'll leave a comment in the description here real quick. But what it basically talks about is it breaks exercise into movement to bring relief to your mind, because your mind wants to win, right? Like naturally our nervous system, our alarm system needs to experience wins. Chronic back pain sufferers need to experience wins. If you do not experience wins, you will stay in this chronic pain cycle all the time. Because no matter what you do, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, you're not going to see it as a win. You're not going to know that, hey, that's something I should celebrate. You know, that's something that I do a lot in Relief Academy, is point out celebrations that you should be looking at. So when you can give your mind these small snacks and you're adding in your workouts, whether it be exercise as in to gain strength or just rehab, trying to learn movement, trying to find your pain-free movements, and to build on those things, you have to two things. You have to end on a positive note. So you're ending not exhausted, not broken down, not in more pain, not with high tension or the fact you push through everything, but you're ending on a high note, but you're also finding that threshold that works for you, right? Because eventually what you're going to do is you're going to push that limit. Every single time you work out, whether it takes weeks or months, you're going to push the limit with those specific snacks and turn those snacks into meals. And that's both mechanical and psychological. You have to focus on both of those things to see success. Because if your brain and mind and body, that whole connection, your alarm system, your nervous system, if you feel like being at a clinic with a provider, you're like, I always find relief. Every time I go do my PT, I always, get relief. Is that because you feel confident while you're there? You trust your provider to be giving you the best information for you. You're in a healing environment, and when you're at a clinic or you're seeing a provider, you're like, I'm here to get better. These guys are professionals. I just trust this process when I'm here. But when I go home and do the same thing, just putting ourselves in healing positions, feel good positions, and learning to control that. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. I wrote some notes down just so I can make sure I go over everything, because there's a lot to unpack with this, right? And if you have any questions, I don't want to take this thing for too long. So if you got any questions, I got some questions here. Ready. Please tell, how do you cure herniated disc problems and how to work out with a herniated discs? Awesome. So this is a good question. So when it comes to herniated discs, you have to approach it, especially if we're talking about it on the terms of this snacking thing. You have to find your entry point into exercise. What exercises can you do that make you feel good? What causes pain? When you're at that point and you're learning to navigate, okay, I can't do squats anymore. I need to stop doing deadlifts. I need to stop doing leg presses. But I can do lunges. I can do farmer's carries. I can do body weight squats. I can do barbell inverted rows. I can do body weight this. So you'll make this list of things that you can do. Once you're there, at the end of the day, it's all about building strength. So the number one thing, people who have, the more you do smart strength, the more you strengthen yourselves with intention and you're building strength wisely, that's even a word, not mean that you should be experiencing pain, right? I talk about this all the time. I use an analogy where you can line 15 of your friends up and everybody could MRIs and the majority of them will have some kind of delamination in their disc or in their spine. And some will have pain symptoms and some won't. So there's really no explanation as to why that is, except the fact that there's a psychological aspect to what you're doing. So if you're holding yourself back saying, well, I have a herniated disc, so I have to find specific exercises for herniated discs, as much as that's how the human race searches for information and all the gurus on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, they teach. Ultimately, you want the results, you want the answer, and you want it to be done in 1, 2, 3 stretches or exercises that you can do right now. But that's a lie. Like, that is a complete lie that you can't look at that. All you have the power to do, look at what you're doing, is your form, technique, is your strategy, is your daily habits, is your understanding of pain. Where is that at? Are you all over the place and you think that you're just really scared that you're super fragile, super weak, so you can't do anything? If that's where your mind is, then exercise won't work. If you start changing your idea of pain and changing the belief around a herniated disc, right, then you can start introducing exercise confidently. And once you're able to do that, then you can start navigating certain exercises. Like I've got a few videos on my YouTube channel about herniated discs. Like, don't do this stretch for herniated discs. Don't do the cobra pose. The way the cobra pose is coached for herniated discs is terrible. There's other ways you can do it. And there's a video on my YouTube channel here that you can search. I think it's literally called Stop Doing the Cobra Pose. Or maybe it stretches, I don't know. It's on here. It talks about the cobra pose. Check it out. That from a rehab standpoint, I would spend more time on my stomach at night when I'm off of my, right? I'm going to take away all the things that cause a lot of loaded flexion, like deadlifts if you're doing those types of things. But ultimately, I'm not going to change much. And that's where it comes down to knowing how to do it smart, how to train smart, and making sure that what you're doing is what you should be doing for long-term relief. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. I know it's kind of a long-winded approach, but Marcy, my back and hips hurt every day, even with exercise. So for you, you have to look at what exercises you're doing. Like, I'd be curious, I'm not sure if you can answer this now, but what does your workouts look like? What are you typically doing? Are you a part of the smart, right? If you were to go see a specialist, hopefully a good one, their job would be to find an entry point for you into exercise. And once you can find that entry point, then it's playing on that and building that resilience and not have chronic pain all the time. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, it kind of depends on what you're currently doing now, what your program looks like, what your history looks like. I wouldn't worry about it. Like, and that's the big thing is like, a lot of this stuff is built up around fear. Like, I personally experienced pain for so long out of fear. I stopped doing things out of fear. So when I would start to exercise, my pain would actually get worse because I was doing things that scared me, but I wasn't approaching it from a mental standpoint. I was approaching it. Who else is I can't think of anything. Stuart McGill's probably a big one. He's all mechanical. Everything's mechanical for him. So I was doing all the mechanical things, but still having back pain. I was doing all the exercises, but still having back pain, which is why you have to approach the self-efficacy, the psychological, what's what I'm looking for? The pain science side of what you experience. Because once you can marry those two together and approach exercise while you're working on that mental side of it, it's going to change the way you experience it. And that's from my experience. And that's from the people who have experienced things through Relief Academy, through Smart Strength. So I'm not exactly sure what your history is, Marcy, but if you can give more questions. I referenced the Smart Strength membership. So basically what that is if you exercise now and the exercises that you're following right now are not conducive to what you're experiencing, as in you're following some program that you have found online, if you're doing things that, anything on YouTube, there's a lot of, we're in a time now where everyone's looking for workouts, free workouts. So you can go on Google and do all these, or YouTube and do all these little HIIT workouts, all these different kinds of body weight bouncing around stuff. If you're doing those exercises and you're experiencing pain, odds are those aren't the best workouts or exercises that you should be doing. Chronic, and I think a lot of people don't realize, like, hey, I tweaked my back this weekend lifting mulch. I mean, like chronic pain, like over 6 weeks, over 6 months of pain. So if you're looking for just a smarter way of training and to learn how I program workouts, guide me. So are you in any of my programs? I like how you have a money sign for the S. Srinivas, I think it's how you say it, last name, Reddy. I like that money sign. Are you in any of my programs? Are you in, there's Smart Strength membership and there's Relief Academy. Those are probably the two things that most of people who find me go into, those two things. Two separate things though. Smart Strength membership is only workout. For someone where you're at, yeah. With where you're at, Relief Academy is going to benefit you the most, right? That's the more in-depth coaching that I offer. Now, if you were to go searching through my content, like on YouTube or my website, fitnessforbackpain.com, and you're just kind of searching for free content, I think where you need to spend most of your time is, again, I keep hammering it and trying to bring it home, but is the pain science, understanding pain science, and then understanding what you should be doing, not just any old workouts, not just even taking time off, because taking time off gives yourself a chance to heal. 6 months of time off is plenty of time. If you were to break your arm right now, go get it fixed, get released from the doctor, in 6 months, you're part of your body. If you're alive and breathing and you're not buried in the ground because you're dead, like, it's true for everything. My ruptured disc, my degenerative discs, it's not going to reverse or change itself. But if you've had a X, Y, and Z issue, or you cracked your vertebrae that you're broken, is your doctor saying that, you've got this X millimeter bulge, which is crushing your sciatic nerve. Like, that is the big deal. And I should preface everything that I say here with, if you haven't seen a doctor and you're having major issues, like you can't feel your legs, you've lost your bowel movements, you're unconscious, you're passing out due to the pain, obviously go see a physician. Like, go see someone who can get something checked out to make sure that your rupture, prolapse, whatever you're having, or bulge, is not absolutely crushing your sciatic nerve. Like that is a big deal, or some kind of nerve root in that lower back causing those sciatic symptoms. So if you can clear yourself from that, and he's like, everything looks good. Yeah, you've got a minor bulge or herniation or whatever, but other than that, you look good. Then it's approaching things that I cover in Relief Academy, or the pain science, the movement, finding your entry of movement. Once you find the entry of movement, how to navigate that, how to build strength around that, build endurance around that, and resilience to that. And it's just it's so in depth, and we can go back and forth and be like, well, do you do this? Like, do you do this? Or how you do this? Like, try this. Like, you do all that. And since this platform is a global platform, Relief Academy focuses on a global reach, that part isn't there. But the communication side of it, once you're in, then we can go back and forth and we can navigate certain things. If you hit a roadblock, hey, I'm having an issue with the hip hinges against the stability ball. That causes sciatic pain. Okay, well, let's try this instead. You know, that's when you can kind of navigate that stuff. I appreciate all you guys for checking it out. I'm just kind of filling out these live videos. I mean, I get a lot of replays and people playing them on the tail end of it. So if there's topics that you want to just chat about, jump on here and chat about stuff. Email me at fitnessforbackpain@gmail.com. Right? You can hit me up on YouTube channel here, leave comments. You can go onto the Facebook page. You can go onto the private community if you're a part of that yet. But just reach out to me. Let me know what you want to talk about, and we'll jump in. I appreciate you guys for coming in, and I'll talk to you later.